A line of severe thunderstorms still expected to move across southern Wisconsin between noon and 7 p.m. The very latest projection using Future Track and what threats these storms bring.
And the man accused of abducting a Beaver Dam teen appears in court. How he's pleading to charges child abduction.
Plus, Coldplay is coming to Camp Randall. What businesses learn to prepare for after the recent Morgan Wallen shows. That is all coming up on News 3 now at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. Alert day conditions are once again in our forecast.
Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington has more on what we can expect tomorrow.
And tomorrow very well likely will pan out very similar to what we saw on Friday. Very similar meteorological setup. Strong winds, can't rule out some large hail and an isolated tornado or two for southern Wisconsin. Time frame noon to 7 p.m. That's the only difference here, is that this may be a bit earlier onset compared to what we experienced last Friday. And I'm going to give you a projection. This is the very latest. Thunderstorms popping up across southwest Wisconsin right around noon. Then as we head towards 1 o'clock, still in southwest Wisconsin. As we go towards 2 o'clock, thunderstorms become more widespread. Perhaps two lines of thunderstorms evolving here, one from the Dells to just west of Madison, and then another line of thunderstorms developing from Crawford into Grant counties. As we head towards 3 p.m., the latest weather projections again showing two lines of thunderstorms, one from the Dells to Madison, the other one from Viroqua to Lone Rock to Dodgeville down to Mineral Point. As we head towards that 4 o'clock time frame, these thunderstorms start to merge together into a single line, but as long as they stay somewhat separate, they pose that threat for a few isolated tornadoes. Marching forward yet another hour, that line of thunderstorms races east of Madison, but yet some additional behind that first line showers and thunderstorms as we head towards 5 and 6 o'clock, even 7 o'clock at nighttime. We still may be looking at a couple of showers and thunderstorms behind this main line of storms. Coming up in Maine weather, I'm going to go into detail on what threats they bring and how Thursday might be a silver lining for some of the activities planned tomorrow evening in southern Wisconsin.
All right, Alex, thank you. The man accused of abducting a Beaver Dam teenager is pleading not guilty. Gary Day appeared at the Dodge County Courthouse this afternoon for an arraignment. Day was extradited from Nebraska and faces 4 felony charges, including child abduction and enticement. Day's bond in Wisconsin set at $2 million. Authorities say Day is the father of the unborn child of 17-year-old Sophia Franklin. Franklin went missing back in February, prompting multiple statewide Amber Alerts.
U.S. inflation rebounded in June to the highest level in 4 months. According to new data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, consumer prices rose 0.3%. Now that pushes the annual inflation rate higher to 2.7%. The data was expected by most economists who've been anticipating the price effects of President Trump's on-again, off-again tariff policies to begin showing some real-world effects.
The first serious set of tariffs went into effect in April, but they didn't affect goods that were already on a boat. So it takes a boat about a month to get from Europe or China to the US. It then might take another month to get through customs. That takes us through to June.
Reflected in the data, price hikes in a number of categories with goods from China, including computers and electronics, textiles, appliances, and toys. The cost of gas and food also on the rise, but due to their volatility, they aren't predictors of the larger economic picture.
Coldplay comes to Camp Randall Stadium this coming weekend. It'll be the venue's second concert after Morgan Wallen's shows a few weekends ago after a nearly 30-year hiatus.
Our Maddie Heimsch brings us a look at how the Madison area is preparing for another big weekend.
It's not uncommon for Camp Randall to completely sell out on Badger game days, but this summer with concerts coming to the venue, hotel, restaurant, and business owners say it's a whole different ballgame.
These concerts at Camp Randall, the return of music to this iconic stadium means so much for the businesses in downtown.
Jason Ilstrup with Downtown Madison Inc. says one Camp Randall concert provides the economic equivalent of about 3 Badger football games.
Huge business for the downtown.
Each one bringing an estimated $4 to $4.5 million to the city.
What's been great about these two concerts is neither have had many dates in the Midwest. So this is a unique opportunity for Midwesterners to come into the city. We saw that with the hotel room numbers from Morgan Wallen.
Aaron Preifert, general manager of Country Inn and Suites in Monona, can testify to those hotel room numbers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we never sell out on a Sunday, so having that was fantastic.
He says Morgan Wallen's time in town likely doubled the hotel's typical weekend of revenue.
For the first time, as long as I've been here, we actually had a line of people into the breakfast area looking to check in, but we handle it pretty well.
He says providing a hotel shuttle proved impractical.
It's just too chaotic, unfortunately.
But otherwise,
just adding extra staff, making sure we have double coverage at the desk, making sure we have enough housekeeping staff, and we buy new linens and whatnot.
looking back at Morgan Wallen and ahead to Coldplay, both say they see a couple encores in Camp Randall's future.
I see Madison becoming more and more of a great music destination.
I think we're going to see more concerts every single year.
Coldplay will play the venue Saturday at 6 o'clock. Reporting at Camp Randall, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
And the city of Madison is announcing several street closures and restrictions ahead of this weekend's concert. Here's a map of what to expect. This is a lot. Monroe Street will be closed between Regent and Randall Avenue starting at 8 a.m. Saturday. It remains closed until approximately 3 a.m. Sunday. Regent Street will be closed between Spooner and Randall Avenue for approximately 1 hour following the concert from 11 p.m. to midnight. That's to ensure pedestrian safety. The city reported temporary on-street parking restrictions will be in place as a typical UW home football game. That includes Regent and Monroe Streets for the concert exit traffic. Additionally, a rideshare loading zone will be designated on North Charter Street from Regent to Dayton. You can also find a full list of all of this at channel3000.com.
Tonight's performance of Wicked at Overture Center was canceled. A staff member telling News 3 Now that cancellation was due to no running water in the building. Now, we spoke with one couple who bought tickets to celebrate their anniversary.
We bought some chocolate. That's going to help. We might go get some more ice cream. We might just eat ourselves into happiness.
The Overture Center says it will follow up with all ticket holders within the next 24 hours with information on your next steps.
The city of Beloit unveiled its new Riverwalk extension today. Governor Tony Evers joined city officials for a ribbon-cutting ceremony. As part of the Riverwalk's construction, a vacant building that protruded over the Rock River was demolished. Wisconsin's DNR had required that building to be removed by 2042.
This project required more than a decade of persistence. It demanded navigating environmental stipulations dating back to 1999, shifting ownership and funding responsibilities, and challenging construction window dictated by river levels.
The city will maintain ownership of the Riverwalk area while construction gets underway for a 4-story, 48,000 square foot building. The city says that space could include a restaurant, commercial office, or residential space. The city of Baraboo has secured a $24 million loan for new fire and satellite stations. These funds come from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Baraboo's current fire facility was built back in 1868 with the addition in 1957. The city says the new buildings will enable fire and the emergency management system to combine for better response times.
A new SSM Health campus is set to take shape on the south side of Verona. Construction underway on the new 97-acre medical campus. It starts with a brand new outpatient center near the intersection of Highway 151 at Highway 69. The 40,000 square foot medical building will offer primary care, lab and imaging services, and specialty care, with the architect saying care will run deep through the bones of the building.
We set out to design more than a clinic here. We envisioned a restorative environment where every element, from daylight to acoustics to workflow and wellness, supports healing and the human connection, each to one another.
Now, the new outpatient center is set to open next year. The rest of the campus project will feature more clinical space and additional services.
According to Second Harvest Food Bank of Southern Wisconsin, there's been a 13% increase in people facing food insecurity. This data comes as Second Harvest launches a new resource for people to view hunger-related data in the region. The study shows nearly 147,000 people, and that includes 40,000 children, are experiencing hunger, with communities of color disproportionately facing food insecurity.
2 University of Connecticut students are passing through Wisconsin on their journey to raise money for suicide awareness. Zach Jageri and James Marks have set a goal for 3,300 miles and have been on the road now for 50 days, all to bring suicide awareness to communities across the nation. The movement is one that James holds close to his heart as he witnessed loved ones battle mental illness.
I did lose my father to his depression in 2022, so that's kind of went into the decision for us to raise funds for that cause.
You're never alone, and sometimes it can be hard to reach out and express the emotions or thoughts that you're going through to the people around you, but there's always support.
And throughout the trip, James has had 4 flat tires so far, but the pair says they've encountered members in every community willing to lend a hand. The students have about 1,200 miles more to go.
Well, still to come at 10, fires continue to rage out of control near the Grand Canyon.
And Russia rejects President Trump's push for peace. This says U.S. weapons are on the way to assist Ukraine. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Parts of the Northeast are now drying out after deadly flash flooding.
A video shows stormwater turning roads into rivers in New Jersey, trapping drivers there. 2 people in the town of Plainfield died after their car was swept away. New Jersey's governor surveying the damage after declaring a state of emergency.
Doesn't feel as I stand here now as though tonight, tomorrow, Thursday will be in the same level of intensity that we saw last night, but you never say never.
And in New York City, subway service is now running somewhat normally after Mother Nature brought the nation's largest mass transit system to a grinding halt. The 2 wildfires burning near the Grand Canyon's North Rim are still at 0% containment.
Yeah, these fires have burned more than 55,000 acres and forced the area to close for the season. From his cattle ranch, George McCormick can see that smoke from the White Sage fire just a couple of miles away. He tells CBS News that he plans to evacuate his herd.
If it runs to the west, we're in trouble. When a fire starts like this, you're taking your life in your hands to go up there and try to round them up.
Arizona's governor is calling for an investigation into why the federal government decided to manage the Dragon Bravo fire as a controlled burn when it first broke out. That fire has now burned more than 70 structures, including the historic Grand Canyon Lodge.
President Trump's push for Russia to reach a peace agreement with Ukraine was rejected by the Kremlin.
This as the president says weapons to assist Ukraine in its war efforts are already on the way. Erica Brown has more from Washington.
President Trump traveled to Pittsburgh Tuesday to attend an energy and innovation summit, unveiling billions in new private sector investments for Pennsylvania's energy and AI capabilities. His visit came as Russia announced its rejection to the president's latest push for a peace deal to end the war in Ukraine. Russian officials called the president's ultimatum to agree to a deal within 7 weeks or face economic consequences unacceptable and insisted the invasion of Ukraine will continue until Russia's goals are achieved. The president has pledged secondary sanctions targeting Moscow if no agreement is made, threatening to impose 100% tariffs on countries that buy oil and gas from Russia, including China and Brazil. The president said Tuesday U.S.-supplied weapons funded by European allies are already en route to Ukraine.
When do you think the first Patriot missiles, some of these weapons that our allies will buy?
They're already being shipped.
From what countries?
They're coming in from Germany and then replaced by Germany, and in all cases, the United States gets paid back in full.
Here on Capitol Hill, Senate Republicans are racing against the clock to vote this week on whether to claw back more than $9 billion in foreign aid and funding for public broadcasting. President Trump's rescissions package could potentially cancel more than $1 billion in federal funding for NPR and PBS.
The primary impact of this potential rescission is going to hurt communities where they need support most, which are rural stations.
Last week, the president threatened to withhold his endorsement for any Republican who opposed the rescissions package. Congress has until Friday to get the bill to the president's desk. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, the Senate cleared the first of 2 procedural votes on the rescissions package 51-50, with the vice president casting the tie-breaking vote.
NVIDIA is resuming selling H-20 semiconductors to China. This move comes despite concerns that those products could boost Beijing's military and artificial intelligence capability. Both the Biden and Trump administrations placed strict limits on what NVIDIA could sell in China. NVIDIA says sales began again shortly after the company's CEO met with President Trump. But the U.S. Commerce Department has not confirmed that the company has been granted permission to sell those items to China.
And now to the weather. It was certainly hot and humid today, but that could lead to storms.
Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington tracking our alert day conditions for tomorrow, Alex.
And we do have updates to share with our alert day conditions. Latest future track is in, showing these lines of thunderstorms expected tomorrow across all of southern Wisconsin. Noon to 7 p.m. is that time frame. Strong winds, large hail, and a couple isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out with these few lines of thunderstorms. So let's just get right to it and start tracking these storms in your neighborhood. Boscobel, Platteville, Prairie du Chien around 12 o'clock. A second line starts evolving as we go from 1 o'clock towards 2 o'clock. One line stretching from the Dells down to the west part of Dane County down to, let's say, Darlington and Monroe. And a second line potentially developing in southwest Wisconsin again in Crawford County down through Grant County. As we march towards 3 o'clock, it looks like two distinct lines of thunderstorms. Camp Douglas stretching down to Madison, down to just west of Janesville. And then that second line behind the first line from Lone Rock to Mineral Point to Darlington. The lines try to come together as we head towards 4 or 5 o'clock. And when that occurs, that transition of large hail and the potential for a few isolated tornadoes starts to transition more towards damaging winds as we head towards 4, 5, 6 o'clock. And even after 5 and 6 o'clock, take note, yet another line trying to form from Camp Douglas down to Lone Rock to the Mineral Point area behind these first two initial lines. And even as we head from 6 o'clock towards 7 o'clock, perhaps yet that final line stretching from Juneau to Watertown to down to the Elkhorn area and even areas west in Dane County. Remember, lightning can strike far away from the parent thunderstorm as far as 30 miles, so that threat may still exist even as we head towards 7 o'clock in the evening. Finally, everything starts to settle down as we get into the late evening hours on Wednesday. Areas from the Dells, Lone Rock, Platteville, Dubuque, east, you're on a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. What that really means is scattered severe thunderstorms look quite likely as we go into the Wednesday afternoon time frame, with the primary threat being damaging winds, but we can't rule out, especially as those two lines are a little bit more distinct, large hail, a couple of isolated tornadoes, and that heavy torrential rainfall threat is certainly a possibility as well. Now, Concerts on the Square is scheduled for Wednesday evening. We've got baseball games, we've got softball games scheduled for Wednesday evening. Here's that forecast, 5 o'clock. Thunderstorms around and still likely in the Madison area all the way up till about 7 p.m. That call as to whether or not Concerts on the Square will be held on Wednesday is made tomorrow, Wednesday, perhaps as early as the early morning hours. But guess what? Thursday is another rain option, and I have very good news as we go into Thursday, possibly starting off with a little bit of patchy fog, but look what happens as we go into Thursday itself. Skies clear out. We have a light north wind, and temperatures are going to be on the cool side. And guess what? The humidity levels, wait till I show you this next graphic here. After everything kind of clears out as we go into the evening hours, humidity in the comfy range for a period of time. So Concerts on the Square, if it were to be moved to Thursday, we're going to be looking at light winds, temperatures in the lower 70s, and we're going to have comfy humidity levels on Thursday compared to some of these past couple of Concerts on the Square if it again is moved to Thursday. 70 for low tonight, a very humid mid-80s before those lines of thunderstorms moves across southern Wisconsin, and there's that comfy stuff Thursday. That'll last into Friday before we push the mercury back into the 80s and those in the 60s and on and off storm chances next week. But all attention as have all of your severe weather communication tools. First Warn Weather app, NOAA Weather Radio, channel3000.com. And our newscast, and of course Channel 3000 Facebook as well for the very latest on tomorrow's potentially dangerous storms moving through the area.
All right, watching it closely. Thanks, Andy.
Yep. So we'll keep an eye on Concerts on the Square. Also, the Northwoods League All-Star game tomorrow. We'll see what the weather does with that, but they were having fun tonight at the Duck Pond regardless, right?
Yeah, they absolutely were, making the most of the weather that we had tonight. And still to come in sports, the stars of the Northwoods League made their way to Madison. Highlights from the home run challenges next on News 3 Now. Let the All-Star festivities commence. For the first time in a dozen years, the Northwoods League All-Star Game is right here in Madison. The fun got started this evening with both the baseball and softball home run derbies. We'll start with baseball. What a sensational scene, seeing all 26 teams represented. The Mallards' Mikey Bell got it going early. He hit 3 home runs, but his teammate, how about this? Mikey Bell, that was MJ Sweeney earlier. This Mikey Bell, he hit 9 home runs, and he wins the Northwoods League Home Run Challenge. And on the softball side, 2 Madison Nightmares were featured, Emma Kavanaugh and Hillary Blomberg. Kavanaugh put on a show, hitting 9 home runs. An incredible performance. It would not be enough as the Lacrosse Steam, their representative, gets the job done with 10 home runs at Warner Park. But for Major League Baseball, the All-Star Game, the Midsummer Classic, the Summit of Stars, whatever you want to call it, it was tonight. And it may not be what it used to be, but the All-Star Game, it is still an All-Star Game, and it's my favorite night of the year. The game is in the 9th inning. Our plan was to show you the highlights, but it got extended. A pitching change happened, and we're just going to tell you what happened. Former Madison Mallard Pete Alonso hit a 3-run homer to give the NL an early 5-0 lead, but as we speak, the American League looks like they're going to make the largest comeback we've seen in quite some time in the All-Star Game. Jacob Mizorowski pitched a scoreless inning for the National League in the 8th. He has the 9 fastest pitches in this entire game. Tomorrow morning, we'll have the full score and highlights from this year's All-Star Game. Well, after winning a national championship at Wisconsin and playing in an incredible 18 years in the NHL, Joe Pavelski is learning the life of retirement. He lives in Madison coaching youth hockey and owns Lean Feast, a restaurant you've probably seen here in town, but he also golfs and does it incredibly well. This weekend, he won the American Century Championship, crowned the best celebrity golfer in the world.
You heard all the rumors about not a lot of current athletes are winning, and Steph went and did it, so I had to retire, a year to go to get this thing. But just amazing week. Like, this place is incredible, means the world to me. I don't know if it showed on TV when we're battling, but man, it's awesome. It's why we play, why you guys let us believe we're pro golfers for a week, and just the best.
That's what we've got for sports. When we return, Alex is a final check of our first warn forecast.
Alex is back, but I'm sorry, final check. You got a busy day tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be another busy one. Blaze and I are going to be here tomorrow, of course, Savannah in the morning, as well as we track a system very similar to last Friday that brings strong winds, a couple isolated tornadoes, large hail, and heavy rain. Can't be ruled out as well from noon to 7 p.m. tomorrow. You know, we have a lot of activities going on tomorrow evening. It is just not looking like a good day for activities. Best to be indoors and keeping an eye on the latest on the First Warn Weather app and, of course, channel3000.com, our live newscasts, and have that NOAA Weather Radio handy tomorrow as we are looking at the likelihood of warnings during the afternoon.
All right. Alex, thank you. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10. As you may have noticed, CBS is currently experiencing some technical difficulties, so The Late Show with Stephen Colbert will not air right after this newscast.
However, News 3 Now is not affected by this issue. Our next newscast is tomorrow morning at 4:30.